My name is Jason, and I never thought the day my marriage ended would also be the day my life began again. When my ex-wife, Lauren, told me she wanted a divorce, it wasn't a fight, it was a statement. She stood in our living room, arms crossed, calm and cold, like she'd rehearsed it 100 times. "Jason," she said, "I can't do this anymore. You have no drive, no ambition. I refuse to spend my life waiting for you to become someone you're clearly not." Her words cut deep, but I didn't argue. The truth was, I'd been stuck for a while. My small business had failed, I'd been doing odd jobs to keep us afloat, and the weight of disappointment hung heavy in the house. But then she said something I'll never forget. As she packed her bags, she looked at me and said, "You're going to die broke and alone. Maybe then you'll realize what you lost." That sentence stayed with me like a scar. I wanted to tell her she was wrong, that life wasn't about money or status, but honestly, part of me believed her. When she walked out the door, it felt like the last bit of light went with her. I spent the first few months after the divorce just surviving, sleeping on a couch in a friend's apartment, doing delivery work, barely scraping by. But somewhere in those quiet, lonely nights, I decided her words wouldn't be the final line of my story. I started reading again, business books, mindset books, anything that could light a spark. I found an online course in digital marketing and spent every free minute learning. I didn't have much, but I had time, and for once, I used it wisely. Slowly, I started getting small freelance clients, helping local shops improve their online presence. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. Then one day, a restaurant owner I'd helped called me, saying his business had doubled in a month thanks to my work. He insisted on paying me triple and told 2 of his friends about me. That's when it started, the momentum I'd never had before. Within a year, I built a small marketing agency. I hired 2 people, then 5, then more. My name started appearing in local papers and online articles about small business success. I moved into a modest apartment, started saving, and most importantly, started smiling again. I didn't date. I didn't chase revenge. I just focused on becoming someone I could respect. 2 years later, I was invited to speak at a business networking event. I was nervous but proud. I stepped onto the stage, shared my story, not the pain, but the process, and when I finished, people stood up and clapped. I'll never forget how surreal that felt. After the event, as I stood near the refreshments table, I heard a familiar voice say my name. I turned around, and there she was. Lauren. My ex-wife. She looked almost the same, except her confidence seemed thinner, worn down by time. "Jason," she said softly, "I saw your name on the program. I wasn't sure it was really you." I nodded politely. "It's me." She smiled awkwardly. "You look different. Happier." "I am," I said. It took a while, but I figured things out. She glanced down at the ringless hand she'd once used to wave goodbye. "I'm glad," she said. "You deserve it." Then, almost hesitating, she added, "I didn't mean what I said that night. About you dying broke and alone. It was cruel. I was angry." I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't feel bitterness. Just peace. "You were honest," I said. "I needed to hear it, even if it hurt." She nodded, eyes glistening a little. "Still, I regret it. You proved me wrong." I smiled faintly. We both learned something, I guess. We talked for a few minutes, polite, distant, like 2 people who shared a history but not a future. When she left, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt grateful that pain had turned into progress. Years later, my agency grew into one of the top firms in the region. I bought a small house by the lake, the kind of quiet place I used to dream about. Sometimes I sit on the porch at night, watching the water shimmer under the moonlight, thinking about how far I've come. Not to prove her wrong anymore, but to prove to myself that I was never what her words claimed I was. People often ask me what success feels like, and I tell them it's not the money, not the recognition. It's waking up one day and realizing that the person who doubted you the most isn't out there anymore. He's gone, because you outgrew him. And when I think of Lauren's words now, I smile. Because the man she left behind might have died broke and alone, but the man I became is alive, whole, and finally free.